Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden treasures in your pocket change, rarest coins. Today we're talking about the 1952 Lincoln penny, a small copper coin that might just be worth a small fortune. One rare specimen of this coin has been valued as high as $1.9 million. That's right, a single penny almost worth $2 million bucks. And you might be wondering, how is that even possible? Well, stick around because we're going to break down the history, the details, and exactly what makes this coin so incredibly valuable. Let's start with a bit of background. The Lincoln cent first hit circulation in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was a landmark moment in American coinage because it was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Until then, most coins had featured symbolic figures like Lady Liberty. The original design was created by Victor David Brenner, and his initials VB can be found on the earliest versions of the coin. By 1952, the Lincoln penny had been in circulation for over 40 years, and the United States Mint had gone through a few changes during World War II. For example, the penny was made out of steel coated in zinc to save copper for the war effort, but by 1952, the coin was back to being made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. The 1952 penny was minted at the San Francisco Mint, and the S Mint mark can be found just below the date on the front of the coin. In terms of mintage, the San Francisco Mint produced around 137 million Lincoln pennies that year, which might sound like a lot, and it is, but here's the twist: not all coins are created equal. While most 1952 pennies are only worth a few cents or maybe a couple dollars in circulated condition, there are a few ultra-rare examples that collectors are willing to pay huge money for. So what makes a 1952 Lincoln penny worth $1.9 million? It comes down to condition, rarity, and sometimes minting errors. One such penny was graded as a perfect mint state 68 plus red by a top grading service. This means it was in nearly flawless condition with its original luster color and strike still completely intact. Combine that with the fact that very few 1952 pennies exist in this condition, and you have a recipe for a record-breaking auction sale. In fact, a coin like this doesn't just appeal to your average coin collector, it draws the attention of high-end investors, historians, and wealthy enthusiasts who are looking for iconic pieces of Americana. A perfect 1952 Lincoln penny isn't just a coin, it's a time capsule. It's a piece of history frozen in time, and when you add extreme rarity and perfect preservation, the price can go through the roof. Some 1952 pennies also have rare minting errors which can increase their value dramatically. For example, off-center strikes, double dies, and repunched mint marks are all types of errors that collectors love. A double die is when the coin is struck more than once with slight misalignment resulting in a doubling effect on the text or date. These kinds of errors are rare, and when they appear on older coins, they can skyrocket in value. Now, if you have a 1952 penny, you're probably wondering how to tell if it's valuable. The first thing to do is look at its condition. Is it bright, shiny, and red in color with no visible wear? That's a good sign. Next, check for any odd features like doubling on the letters or numbers. Look closely at the mint mark too, as repunched mint marks are a known variety for this year. Finally, you'll want to weigh it and have it graded by a reputable coin grading company like PCGS or NGC to get an official assessment. Most 1952 pennies in average circulated condition are worth just a few cents, but if you have one in brilliant uncirculated condition with a rare error or an extremely high grade, you could be looking at hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars. The penny that sold for $1.9 million was in a category of its own, preserved perfectly and with a backstory that elevated it to legendary status. To wrap it up, the 1952 Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a hidden gem, a historical artifact, and in extremely rare cases, $1 million treasure. So the next time you're sifting through your spare change or checking an old jar of coins from your grandparents, take a closer look at those old Lincoln cents. You never know what you might find. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more rare coin discoveries. We'll see you next time, and happy treasure hunting. If you'd like a version with on-screen text cues, chapter breaks, or visuals prompts for editing, let me know. I can also help you write a compelling title and description for your video. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the hidden gems in your pocket change. Today, we're looking at a coin that millions of people have handled without thinking twice: the 1973 Lincoln penny. Most of these coins are only worth a cent, maybe a little more if they're in nice condition. But what if I told you that one extremely rare 1973 Lincoln penny has been valued at a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? That's right, a single penny that could buy a luxury home or even a few exotic cars. So, how is that possible. Let's dig into the history and the details that make this coin so special. The Lincoln penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, has a long and fascinating history. It was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on regular U.S. currency. Before Lincoln, American coins typically featured symbolic representations like Lady Liberty, rather than actual people. By 1973, the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for over 60 years. The obverse still featured Lincoln's profile, while the reverse at that time showed the Lincoln Memorial, which had been introduced in 1959. To mark the 150th anniversary of his birth, this reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, replaced the earlier wheat ears design that collectors still love today. In 1973, the United States Mint produced the Lincoln penny at 3 different locations: the Philadelphia Mint, which issued coins with no mint mark; the Denver Mint, which used a small D mint mark; and the San Francisco Mint, which struck proof coins for collectors using an S mint mark. All of these coins were made primarily from copper, specifically an alloy of 95% copper and 5% zinc. That composition is important because only a few years later, in 1982, the mint would switch to a primarily zinc-based composition to save on rising copper costs, so the 1973 penny is one of the last full copper coins minted. Before that major change, now let's talk about value in general. Most 1973 pennies are common and circulated. Millions were made, and they're still found in change today. In average condition, they're worth face value maybe a few cents to a couple of dollars if they're uncirculated. But when you enter the world of high-grade specimens, rare mint errors, and pristine proof coins, things can get a lot more interesting. In the rare coin market, condition is everything. A 1973 penny in perfect mint state condition, especially graded MS67 or higher, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors are willing to pay big premiums for coins that are nearly flawless with full red luster and sharp detail. But here's where it gets really exciting. There are rumors and collector reports of an ultra-rare 1973 Lincoln penny with a minting error that made it unique. This coin reportedly featured a striking off-metal error and was created on a bronze planchet meant for a different denomination. Combined with a pristine grade and perfect preservation, this coin drew the attention of serious collectors and sold for a reported $1.4 million at a private sale. What makes that particular coin so valuable is its one-of-a-kind nature. It wasn't just a high grade, it was a complete minting anomaly, an error coin that shouldn't even exist, but somehow it slipped through quality control and into the hands of a lucky collector, and because no others like it have surfaced, its rarity sent its value skyrocketing. Now, if you're wondering whether your 1973 penny is worth anything, here's what to look for. First, check the condition. If it's heavily worn, it's probably only worth face value, but if it still looks shiny with strong details and red color, it could be worth grading by a professional company like PCGS or NGC. Also, check for any strange features. Look for doubling in the date or lettering, any unusual metal coloring, or signs that the coin might have been struck on the wrong planchet. Another thing to consider is whether it's a proof coin. Proof coins from 1973 have the S mint mark and are known for their mirror-like finish. These were made in limited numbers for collectors, and in high grades they can be worth significantly more, especially if they're still sealed in original government packaging. In the world of coin collecting, sometimes the most ordinary-looking penny can turn out to be a life-changing discovery. That's the thrill of the hunt. A coin that once cost 1 cent selling for over $1 million seems unbelievable, but in numismatics, rarity, condition, and historical significance can create the perfect storm. So the next time you're digging through your coin jar or counting out change, don't overlook those old pennies. That 1973 Lincoln cent in your hand might just be worth a fortune. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, be sure to like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel for more stories about rare coins, valuable finds, and the fascinating history behind everyday money. Until next time, keep searching and good luck on your treasure hunt. Let me know if you'd like a title and video description or suggestions for on-screen visuals or B-roll content to go along with this script. Welcome back to the channel, where we bring you the most fascinating stories from the world of coins, collectibles, and unexpected treasures you might already own. Rarest coins. Today we're diving into a coin that millions of people have seen and probably spent without a second thought: the 1962 D Lincoln penny. While most of these coins are worth just a cent, maybe a few dollars if you're lucky, one rare example of the 1962 D penny has been valued at an astonishing $1.7 million. That's right, one single penny, nearly $2 million. And in this video, we're going to uncover why. To understand how a simple copper penny can be worth that much, we first need to talk about the history of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909, in honor of Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, it marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on circulating U.S. coinage designed by Victor David Brenner. It featured Lincoln's profile on the obverse with two wheat ears on the reverse. This design lasted until 1958, when the reverse was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial. Starting in 1959, by 1962, the Lincoln Memorial reverse was still relatively new, and the coin was being struck in massive numbers. The 1962 D penny was minted at the Denver Mint and bears the small D Mint mark just below the year on the front of the coin. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 1.79 billion pennies, making it one of the most common coins in circulation at the time. It was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it that distinctive reddish-brown appearance when freshly minted. With so many made, you might think that there's no way one could be worth more than a few cents, but coin collecting is full of surprises. It's not just about how many were made, but how many survived in perfect condition or with unusual and rare features. The vast majority of 1962 D pennies are worth their face value, or maybe a few bucks in uncirculated condition, but every so often a coin surfaces that breaks all expectations. One particular 1962 D Lincoln penny became famous among collectors when it sold in a private sale for an unbelievable $1.7 million. What made this coin so valuable was a perfect combination of extreme rarity, flawless condition, and a dramatic minting error. It was struck on a bronze planchet using improperly aligned dies, creating doubling in the date and lettering. This kind of error is called a double die, and when it happens clearly and dramatically, it can make a coin incredibly desirable. On top of that, the coin was graded as Mint State 67 red by a top-tier grading company. That means the coin not only had an error, but was also preserved in nearly perfect condition with its original bright red copper color still fully intact. Only a handful of coins from that year and mint have ever achieved that level of quality, and when you add in the error, it becomes a true one-of-a-kind piece. That rarity is what pushed the value into the seven-figure range. So, what should you look for if you have a 1962 D penny in your collection or pocket? First, check the overall condition. Is it shiny with little to no wear? Does it have that red color, or has it turned brown over time? Red coins, especially those in mint condition, are much more valuable. Next, look closely at the date and the lettering under magnification. Look for any signs of doubling, especially on the numbers or the word Liberty. Another key thing to watch for is the weight. A standard 1962 penny should weigh around 3.11 grams. If it's noticeably lighter or heavier, it could be struck on the wrong planchet, which is another type of valuable error. These off-metal errors can bring in serious money, especially if they're confirmed by a grading service. You might also want to check the mint mark. Sometimes the D mint mark was punched into the die more than once, creating a repunched mint mark, or RPM. This is a popular variety among collectors, and some RPM examples can fetch impressive prices depending on their clarity and condition. And of course, if you believe your coin is unusual or in extremely high quality, your best bet is to have it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. These companies provide a detailed assessment of the coin's condition, authenticity, and value, and that official grade can make all the difference when it comes time to sell. In most cases, a 1962 D penny might be worth only a little more than face value, but if you find one with the right error in the right condition, you could be holding on to a life-changing piece of history. It's a reminder that treasure isn't always buried. Sometimes it's sitting right in your change jar. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, valuable finds, and surprising pieces of American history, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss an update. There's a world of wealth and wonder hiding in plain sight, and we're here to help you uncover it. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your coins close, and your curiosity alive. Who knows, maybe your next penny will be worth $1 million. If you want a great title and description for your video or tips on editing visuals to match the narration, let me know, and I'll help you finish your upload with professional polish. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the fascinating world of coins and collectibles, rarest coins. Today, we are diving into a coin that most people overlook every single day, the 1971 Lincoln penny. It's small, copper, and familiar, but did you know that a rare version of this coin has reportedly been valued at a staggering $1.5 million? That's right, a single penny that could make you a millionaire. Let's break down the history, the value, and what makes this particular coin so special. To understand how a 1-cent coin could be worth such a fortune, we have to start with the story of the Lincoln cent itself. Introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln penny was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. The original design by Victor David Brenner featured Lincoln's bust on the front and two wheat stalks on the reverse. In 1959, the reverse was redesigned to show the Lincoln memorial to honor the 150th anniversary of his birth. This design remained until 2008, and it's the one you'll see on the 1971 Lincoln pennies. The obverse or front still shows Lincoln's portrait, while the reverse features the iconic memorial in the center with the words United States of America and 1 cent around it, and E pluribus unum above. Now, let's talk about the 1971 penny itself. In that year, the United States Mint produced Lincoln pennies at two main locations: the Philadelphia Mint, which produced coins with no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which used a D mint mark. Under the year, the total mintage between both mints was well over 5 billion coins, making this one of the most common years for Lincoln cents. So how can one of these coins possibly be worth $1.5 million? The answer lies in two key things: rarity and condition. While most 1971 pennies are incredibly common and only worth 1 cent, there are some ultra-rare examples that defy the odds and end up being worth life-changing amounts. In the case of the $1,1971 penny, it came down to a unique mint error combined with pristine condition and rarity. The most famous and valuable 1971 penny is a version that was struck on the wrong metal planchet. In this case, a 1971 penny was mistakenly struck on a silver dime planchet instead of the usual copper one. That means it was lighter in weight, had a silvery appearance, and had slightly different dimensions. These kinds of mint errors are incredibly rare, and when certified by a professional grading service, they can command serious money. On top of that, this particular coin was graded at an extremely high level by a trusted grading company like PCGS or NGC, meaning it was in mint state condition with very few, if any, marks or blemishes. That combination of a dramatic mint error and perfect preservation created a one-of-a-kind coin that collectors went absolutely wild for. Eventually, it sold in a private sale for around $1.5 million, making it one of the most valuable pennies ever. So, what should you be looking for if you have a 1971 penny in your collection? First, check the color and the weight. A regular 1971 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams and have a copper tone. If it looks silver or feels lighter, it might be struck on a dime planchet, and you should get it checked immediately. Second, look for any unusual errors, such as doubling on the lettering or date, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks. These types of errors can dramatically increase the value of a coin even without a metal mismatch. Also, check the overall condition. If your coin still has its original red luster and very little where, it might be worth grading. Coins in mint state condition, especially those graded MS66 or higher, are always worth more than their circulated counterparts. And if you think your coin is truly special, your best move is to have it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. This gives you an official certification that proves its authenticity and helps you get top dollar. If you decide to sell, most 1971 pennies are worth only a few cents in circulated condition and maybe a few dollars in uncirculated condition. But that one rare coin, the one with a mint error, perfect strike, and preserved beauty, proves that even the most ordinary-looking penny can become something extraordinary. To wrap it up, the 1971 Lincoln penny is more than just spare change. It's a piece of history, a work of craftsmanship, and in rare cases, a multi-million-dollar treasure hiding in plain sight. So next time you come across a penny from 1971, take a closer look. You never know what you might have. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into rare coins, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss any of our future coin discoveries and collecting tips. We've got more amazing stories coming your way, and who knows, maybe the next coin we cover is already in your pocket. Until next time, keep searching and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like a YouTube title, thumbnail idea, video description, or even a call-out script for a voiceover intro or outro. Happy to help package this perfectly for your upload. Welcome back to the channel, where we explore the hidden stories and incredible values behind everyday coins. Today, we're diving into a coin that most people have handled without ever realizing its potential: the 1978 Lincoln penny. It's a coin that has circulated in the hands of millions, but few know that a rare version of this coin has been valued at an unbelievable $1.3 million. Yes, a simple penny struck in 1978 that could make someone a millionaire. Let's take a look at the history, the details, and why this little coin could be worth a fortune. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was a historic release because it was the first time a real historical figure appeared on a regular issue U.S. coin. Before, Lincoln coins usually featured symbolic images like liberty or eagles. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and it featured Lincoln's profile on the obverse or front of the coin. At first, the reverse showed two wheat ears, which earned it the nickname Wheat Penny, but in 1959 that design was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in honor of Lincoln's 150th birthday. This design stayed in place until 2008, and that's the reverse you'll see on the 1978 penny. Now, the 1978 Lincoln penny was struck at two primary mints: the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which used a small D mint mark under the year. Both mints produced hundreds of millions of pennies that year. In fact, over 6 billion 1978 pennies were minted altogether, making it a very common coin in circulation. So here's the big question: if it's so common, how can it possibly be worth over $1 million? The answer lies in something that collectors prize above all else: rarity and condition. While billions of these coins were produced, not all were struck perfectly, and even fewer survived in flawless condition with no signs of wear, scratches, or tarnish. One particular 1978 Lincoln penny became a legend in the coin world because it was graded at an extremely high level by a professional grading company, and it had an extremely rare minting error. This penny was mistakenly struck on a proof planchet using specially prepared dies meant for proof coins. These planchets are highly polished and used only for collector coins, but somehow one slipped into regular production at a mint where it shouldn't have been used. The result was a coin that had an unusually sharp strike, glossy surfaces, and pristine detail beyond what you would expect in a regular circulation coin. It was graded Mint State 69 red by a top-tier grading service, and because of its rarity, condition, and the mysterious error, this coin was sold in a private transaction for an astonishing $1.3 million. This is a reminder that even the most ordinary coin can become extraordinary under the right circumstances when you combine a dramatic mint error with nearly perfect preservation and historical curiosity. You get a coin that serious collectors will fight over, and when money is no object, those prices can soar. So what should you be looking for if you have a 1978 penny in your change jar or collection? First, check for mint marks. A 1978 penny with a D mint mark came from Denver. No mint mark means it was struck in Philadelphia. Then take a close look at the condition. If it's worn down or scratched, it's probably only worth face value, but if it looks crisp, shiny, and new, you may have something special. Next, examine it closely under good lighting. Look for anything unusual like doubling in the date or lettering known as a double diamond error. Also check for off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or unusual coloration. If your coin looks silver or is lighter than normal, it could be a wrong planchet error, which can also be extremely valuable. If you think you have something out of the ordinary, your best next step is to send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They will authenticate and grade your coin, giving it an official designation and a clear value in the collector market. A high grade or confirmed mint error can take your coin from a few cents to thousands or more. Now, to be realistic, most 1978 Lincoln pennies are only worth 1 cent in circulated condition and a few dollars if they are in uncirculated condition, but that doesn't mean there aren't a few ultra-rare examples out there. The $1 million version is incredibly rare, but it proves that these coins should not be ignored. The 1978 Lincoln penny might seem like just another coin, but as we've seen, even the most overlooked pieces of change can hold incredible stories and life-changing value. You never know what might be hiding in your pocket drawer or old coin jar. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoy learning about valuable coins, hidden treasures, and fascinating pieces of American history, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss our next episode. We're helping collectors and treasure hunters just like you find out what their coins are really worth. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, maybe your next penny will be worth over $1 million. Let me know if you'd like help with a video title, description, thumbnail idea, or a call to action script for social media promotion. I can help tailor the video for your audience and make sure it performs well on YouTube.